you shave, or are you one of the weird beard guys? I shave every day. What razor do I use? I'm glad that you asked. If you don't know Harry's, now you do. Harry's is different from other shaving companies. They craft high-quality, long-lasting blades with durable weighted handles. If you enjoy a close, comfortable shave, look no further. You no longer need to choose between a great shave and a fair price. With Harry's, you get both. Refill blades start as low as $2. That's a no-brainer. If you're new to shaving or have finally decided to get rid of that ridiculous beard, Harry's is offering new customers their starter set, which includes a 5-blade razor with a weighted handle, foaming shave gel with aloe, and a travel cover, all for $3. There's never been a better time to try Harry's. Go to harrys.com/Chael to get their starter set for just $3. It's 100% satisfaction guaranteed. That means if you don't love it, they refund it. Nothing to lose. Go to harrys.com/Chael right now to get this special deal. Francis Ngannou was talking to Helwani, and I've kind of changed my view on Francis, by the way. I kind of have. Francis used to really frustrate me. I think it's because I misunderstood him. I'm starting to understand him more, and I'm starting to look at him differently. I disagree with a lot of the things he says, possibly all of them. I disagree with the gamesmanship, the chessboard, the strategy, but that's a manager's issue. Coach, trainer, people within his team. It's really none of my business. I find that I keep inserting myself into Francis's business, though, but when you're a fan of the sport, if you're a pundit in the sport, the heavyweight championship is coveted. It's special. That's the belt Muhammad Ali had. That's the belt Hulk Hogan had. That's the belt The Rock had. I mean, there's something there to that heavyweight championship. Francis, when he was talking with Ariel, said he felt very disrespected by the UFC. What Francis is talking about is the fact that they did an interim championship. He's saying, look, I'm the champion. Now you've gone out and watered down my achievement by putting a belt that looks very similar to mine on a guy in my weight class. That's Francis's point. Now, one of the reasons why I wouldn't be my typical dick of a self and come out and scold Francis, as I believe I'm understanding Francis more. I believe that I'm getting him more. And Francis and I had a face-to-face one time, everybody was at the PFL. It was very quick. But I learned a few things about him. I learned it by looking in his eye. I learned it by the tone of his voice. I learned a few things about him. I'm looking at him differently now. If an angry Francis with a chip on his shoulder is the best version of Francis, nobody should try to take that chip off his shoulder. His coaches should not. His managers should not. The UFC should not. Fans should not. I most certainly would be out of bounds. And I know guys like this. You guys know I'm a big amateur wrestling fan. We have a guy right now named Jaden Cox. Jaden is a victim. Jaden has been abused. Jaden has been mistreated. But he's believed that for a number of years and has yet to leave the country and not bring us home a beautiful, shiny medal. Chip on his shoulder, Jaden Cox is the best Jaden Cox. I lived a big part of my own career with that same chip. I was at Team Quest. We had multiple world champions. I knew on a daily basis at 3 o'clock where I stood in this world. I couldn't even get signed to the organization. I was not a contender. I was not a pretender. I was a dreamer, showing up every day, trying to get a break. It was one of those things, and it created a frustration. So if Francis is something he's frustrated about, but he's getting the results that he's getting, I don't know that you want to correct it. The other side is where I categorically disagree with Francis, and I want Francis to be real careful before he creates an enemy. And one thing that happens when you get a little bit of run, you get a little bit of stroke, little bit of recognition, little bit of fame, little yin-yang in your pocket, is guys change quickly. Again, I came from Team Quest. You guys have heard of that gym. We were legendary. In all fairness, we were legendary. every bit as legendary as the shootbox gym. Very big deal. Nothing divided our team more than the Ultimate Fighter. I have one teammate to this day that went on the Ultimate Fighter and is still my teammate. No one came back. And we had major ends. You remember the first ever Ultimate Fighter, Randy Couture was the coach. Remember that season? It was Randy versus Chuck? That whole Forrest and Stephan match was predicated on Chuck and Randy being the coaches. So we had a major end from Jump Street. Then Randy still knows all the people over there and the producers and the talent agents. He knew exactly who to get in with. So Team Quest had a major participation throughout the series of The Ultimate Fighter. No one came back except one guy. He even left. He left for many years. He has since returned. Nothing divided us more. Why? Well, all of a sudden the guys that were hungry like me, that were trying to get their break like me, that were working to be champions like me, were on TV. They were recognized. When you start to get recognized on TV, and whether you've come in to success or you're on the cusp of coming into success, nothing will change in that. You do not quit having scammers and leeches coming to you. You just have access to a higher level of scumbag. This scumbag will show up in a three-piece suit and take you to a beautiful lobster meal instead of the scumbag showing up in used Adidas and taking you for a cheeseburger at noon. It's the same guy with the same plan, which is to somehow latch onto you. But the very first thing he has to do, it's the art of war, is divide and able to conquer. So he will get in your ear if he's a manager. And he will quickly tell you all the things that you should be getting and how stunned he is that nobody's told you this before. And you'll run and sign with him instantly. You have to. This is your big moment and you've got to use it. You'll get coaches that come to you and say, I cannot believe the way that you're training. I'm stunned that nobody has told you this. Come out and be with me and we're going to make this right. And you go. You have to. It's your opportunity. Nothing divided us more than the Ultimate Fighter. I only bring that to you because I'm very, very aware of the psychology of getting exposed to something positive. Having people around you telling you things, pulling you in different directions. They must divide and able to conquer. So if you're somebody that has absolutely nothing, you've now made it into the UFC, got recognized, made it to main event status, made it to world title fight status, got absolutely dominated, and they let you return to it again against the same opponent. Oh, and by the way, have given you a disclosed $2.7 million. It would seem to anybody that those people believe in you. It would seem to any, wow, those people really believe in you. Those people in this case being the UFC. To be the person who came over here with nothing, has made it to the highest ranks, failed miserably, and was allowed to return against the same opponent. I mean, look, if they don't believe in you, they sure as hell aren't going to put you in there with a guy who you fought for 5 rounds and you didn't win a single one of them. In all fairness, that was a tip of the hat. That was a tip of the hat. Main eventing pay-per-views. Main eventing on ESPN. Paid the bonuses. Put the belt around you. Offered all their main events on pay-per-view that's going to come with other big, beautiful checks. And you're now telling them no and believing that they have somehow wronged you. I don't want you guys to pass judgment on Francis. I used to do that. And then I met him. It's different. It's different. Athletes have to put themselves in whatever situation they believe is best. And Francis, not for nothing, is a survivor. Can we give him that? If you've heard the Francis Ngannou story, which is flat inspiring, the guy's a survivor. So if he's putting himself in a position, and some guys, they got to be a wounded animal, and they got to put themselves in a corner. A wounded animal backed into a corner is one of the most dangerous things you could ever come across. You must always give your enemy a way out. Remember that. You're going to have enemies in life, business, relationships, or in combat. Give them a way out. Don't ever put them into a position where they're cornered, because now they only got one choice, okay? But if Francis mentally believes that's when he does his best work and that's what he's attempting to do, great. Why should we tell him? He's the champion of the world. But if he sincerely in his heart feels that somebody saw the story, saw the look, saw the skills, and didn't believe in the guy when they're using him in their most marquee spots, that would just be inaccurate. It would just be incorrect. And Francis talked about, I should be able to go box. I for sure am going to run my UFC contract out. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how many matches he has left. But he's going to run it out so we can go over and box. Go multi-millionaire. He's going to go over and box where the real money is. Francis Ngannou is worth nothing in boxing. Conor McGregor is worth nothing in boxing. Israel Adesanya is worth nothing in boxing. That's not completely true. However, the UFC champion is. And that's what these guys are missing. Conor McGregor does not fight Floyd Mayweather for the purse that he got. The double UFC champion does. Francis Ngannou does not go and fight Tyson Fury in a huge boxing match. The UFC heavyweight champion does. And that's where the disconnect comes. And that's where the lack of understanding and the lack of gratitude is nauseating, and it is infuriating. But I'm not Francis's manager. I'm not his team. This is their job. But if they've assessed their athlete and they came to the conclusion that pissed off Francis is the best Francis, keep him right where he's at. Keep him right where he's at. But we do all need to be very clear. If you think that you're going to have a contract with a promoter and that promoter does not have the right to participate and do everything within his power to get a return on investment, you're unreasonable. You're wrong from a legal standpoint, but even from an ethical standpoint, you are unreasonable. If you believe you have met a promoter and an organization who has given you opportunity, and that's the only thing they can give, but if they gave you an opportunity and you are not grateful and you are not appreciative and you feel it's appropriate to turn the gun back on them, then your advisors and your inner circle had better be careful, because when a person tells you who they are, believe them.